Welcome back, everyone. Now, here's a live look at Seattle's waterfront this morning, right now. This is where some huge changes are about to get underway that will dramatically change this area once the Alaskan Way viaduct comes down. Now, here to explain all this is Heidi Hughes from Friends of Waterfront Seattle. Welcome to the show, Heidi. Awesome. Now, I have to tell you, it was a couple years I came into town, into Seattle. I live way out in Snohomish, and I went down to the waterfront to see what was going on, take my kids down there because they had never seen it. And it was completely changed and gone, and there's a lot of changes going on. What's happening right now down on the waterfront?
There is a lot happening on the waterfront, and it is all good.
Okay.
So you know the viaduct is coming down.
Yes.
And that's the state's project when the tunnel opens.
Okay.
And the city came up with this beautiful plan through lots of public input to create a park on Seattle's central shoreline, basically reconnecting the city to its central shoreline where it's disconnected now by this big Herkin highway that's noisy and dirty. So what is going to happen is the road, which you remember that the way it used to be, you had a road and your basic sidewalk and then the water.
Right, everybody remembers that, right? You guys have been there moaning and groaning about it.
Well, the road, we're still going to have an Alaskan Way surface street. It'll get moved over to the east, away from the water, to make room for beautiful planted promenades, places to play, stroll, walk. And the public piers between the wheel and the aquarium and just to the north of the aquarium are going to be rebuilt to be flexible activity spaces, lots of things for people to do, to really implement the waterfront for all principle, which has been at the center of all the planning for many years.
Now, you and your organization, Friends of the Waterfront, please explain to us what that's all about, what you guys do.
Friends of Waterfront Seattle was created as part of the city's strategic plan. The city of Seattle came up with a very well-developed strategic plan about how to design, build, fund, and take care of this park. And what they learned from studying other civic spaces across the country is great parks have a nonprofit partner. So we exist only to make the park great, and we do that to augment public funding, keep it programmed, active, safe, and invite all cultures and communities to experience the waterfront.
Okay. So at this point in the process, has anything actually been built down there?
Yes. The seawall, which is the foundation of it all that needed to be rebuilt to be seismically safe, is finished. Oh,
finally.
And the juvenile salmon are already showing up.
Oh, wow.
So if you've been down there, you see there's a little surface that's cantilevered over the water.
Look at that.
Glass bricks, and underneath are salmon swimming. I think that's going to come up in one of the next pictures. This is actually Market Front.
Yeah,
Market Front is part of the project. So we have low-income senior housing, 300 new parking stalls, new artisans that will ultimately be connected to the waterfront by what we call the Overlook Walk. So if you've been to the Olympic Sculpture Park and you can go from the upland to the waterfront without crossing the railroad, we'll be able to do that from Pike Place Market to the waterfront without crossing a street.
Now, I got to tell you, like, there's a lot of people that are probably new to Seattle. We've had a recent influx of a lot of people coming to the city.
That's why we need this park.
And that's what I'm saying. So if you've just recently come to Seattle, you don't understand how beautiful that waterfront used to be and how much better they're making it right now.
Exactly.
And you've mentioned how it's going to connect to Pike's Place or the Pike Place Market. Explain how that's going to work and how it's going to affect that entire area.
So a planted land bridge will connect Pike Place Market and splash down right in front of the aquarium, the existing aquarium. The existing aquarium is expanding into the base of that Overlook Walk with its ocean pavilion, really concentrating on conservation, ocean ethic, and they have a great feature in the current plans where you can actually look in from the outside through the sharkulus and see in the tank.
The sharkulus.
Yes.
Does that mean there's going to be sharks inside swimming around?
Could be.
Okay.
Could be.
You're getting our hopes up here.
Right.
We love sharks around here, don't we? Now, you talked about the viaduct, and I know a lot of people in Seattle that have a lot of anxiety when it comes to the viaduct. Do you know when it's actually going to come down?
The viaduct will come down when the tunnel opens. So that's the state's decision. All signs point to earlier rather than later. The demolition's scheduled for 2019, so we're hoping to have a big block party sometime later this year, early next year, to celebrate the future park and reconnecting the city to its central shoreline.
Now I remember the old waterfront. They had lots of incredible restaurants and lots of little shops and places to go into. I remember one of my favorite was, I don't know if anybody remembers I think it was called the Ye Old Shop of something or whatever.
Right.
But are some of those coming back? Or you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Are we gonna have that kind of same atmosphere, restaurants, shops, that whole deal?
That and even more. So we do have privately owned piers, Ivers, Elliott's, the Great Wheel, and a lot of shops and restaurants. Those are going to stay. Those are unchanged by the project. And you can imagine the surrounding area, Western and Alaska, and a lot of those buildings now realize this park is coming. So they're starting to face the west and think about what shops, retail, restaurant would complement this park. So you can come to the park, have a great time all day without spending a nickel. Bring your family,
That's always
picnic,
important.
go to concerts. We've thought about things like ice skating in winter, guided kayak tours to see those little salmon swimming under the new seawall.
Yes.
And then you can go over to the new waterfront district and imagine a place that, you know, when the Lovejoy Expressway came down in Portland, that brought about the Pearl District. So you start to think about all the things that will make that whole area more robust and attractive to locals.
Well, I'm getting really excited about it. I know a lot of people out there watching are getting excited about it too. We're gonna have our waterfront back.
are.
Yes. Thank you, Heidi, for coming here and joining us and talking about this and getting us all pumped up about the Seattle waterfront again. Now, see how you can get accustomed to a tailored weight loss program made especially for you. You want to find out? Hang around. We'll be right back.